Does your company represent more than one brand? Do you have a separate social media strategy, meaning different social media accounts for all of those smaller brands? Or do you use one umbrella brand that shares information on all of those smaller brands as well?
In today's episode, we will share our thoughts on that topic, so stay tuned. Hi everybody, it's Mari-Liis
And Laura.
and we are from Powerful Marketers. If you are a business owner or a marketer with a product or service you believe in, this is the right place for you.
Because when it comes to business success, we believe that no one wins alone.
We all need to be connected, inspired and supported to grow. Thanks for being here today and let's get started. If your company represents various brands that may or may not be similar in the target market, you have to put some serious thinking into content strategy. We got this question from Katrina and we find this topic so important that we decided to share our thoughts with you all here.
Yes, so the question she asked Mari-Liis was whether she should create separate social media channels for one brand that has started to grow over the past few years within the company, and it has started to become now more known, not just as a sub-brand of that company, but as a separate identity in general. So the question was if it would make sense to create a different strategy for that emerging brand or to just keep it under the same so-called company hat.
And this is not one size fits all type of situation at all. She had many concerns and it is very important to think these things through before making any permanent decision really. And she was also afraid that the main company social media accounts would lose followers if she were to take the content to the new emerging brand to new social media accounts. So far she had alternated between posting content that was more connected to the main company and then content that was directly connected to this emerging brand and trying to keep it around 50-50.
Well, I think it is a tough decision, but I think that the first thing to consider is the target audience. If those brands have different target audiences, then of course it makes sense to separate them. But if the target audiences overlap, then I don't think it is wise to dilute your efforts and separate them.
That's a good point. For example, from our other clients in the food industry, there may be products in their selection that are very healthy, but also not so healthy products. And if you want to be known as a health brand on the one side, then you must separate these two brands and market them also separately. For example, one brand then should be marketed as health foods and the other as maybe just delicious treats to be enjoyed with great friends.
Indeed. But I would wrap it up here that if brands have different focuses, different goals, different values, different target audiences, then separate them. But if they are more connected, for example, one brand is selling construction materials and the other one is selling construction tools and both sell them to construction companies, then most likely the target audience is the same, right?
And coming back to Katrina's concerns, she was thinking about separating the channels and was asking how it would be best to communicate during this transition. Should she post the same content on both of these accounts for some period? Or maybe should she invite followers from the existing company account to this new brand's account? Or how to proceed without so-called shooting herself in the leg?
Well, my personal opinion is that if possible, and if the brands are aligned with their values and target audience and goals and everything that we just discussed, then it is not wise to separate them because on the one hand, it creates a lot of confusion for your target audience, which channel should they follow. And on the other hand, it creates a lot of work for you as a marketer as well. And in addition to competing with all of your competitors, you will now start to compete with your second page on social media as well.
And also, starting a new page in social media from scratch today is much more complicated than years ago, and it requires a proper advertising budget for sure. Organic reach is really bad, especially on Facebook, let's be honest.
Yes.
And also bear in mind that the workload will most likely increase with more accounts to handle. You need more designs, more posts, etc.
Yeah, I agree. But let's just play with the idea that for whatever reason, it makes sense to separate these accounts now. How to communicate this? Well, I would say that in marketing, repetition is key. So don't be afraid of repeating the same thing over and over again. On the contrary, if you just mention something once and never talk about it again, it will just be forgotten.
So if you were to take the content about this brand to another account, I would definitely create an announcement about it and then continue sharing some valuable posts about the brand on the main company's account. But of course, at the end of each message with a proper call to action to follow the new brand accounts to see all the updates. And I think this can continue for a while, at least for a month or even longer period. And after that, again, it is wise to occasionally bring the new brand up on the main company's accounts, just to cross-market and let new followers know how your communication is structured.
So there you have it. So to wrap it up, if you have multiple brands within your company, then the first step would be to carefully analyze the target audiences, the values, the goals of each brand before you decide to separate their marketing. Because more accounts means more confusion for your customers and also more work for you. But if the brands do serve different target audiences, then for the sake of clarity, definitely separate them.
So thank you for listening. And if you have any questions or a specific topic you would want to hear us talking here, let us know in the Powerful Marketers community.
Thank you and see you there. No one wins alone. Be supported, inspired, and connected with our community 24/7. Find the link in the show notes.